So hi everyone, my name is Jocelyn. I am the NAIT Student Association President, and I welcome all of you to our first NAITSA Sustainability Week. So today we have a fantastic panel of NAIT leaders who will share what their departments are doing to support sustainability. After, we'll have a brief time for questions from the audience, but first we'll do a couple housekeeping items. So the first thing is we have some friends from the Nugget and from NAIT Newswatch to capture some photos and videos. If you're not comfortable being photographed, please let one of us know. The second is in this theater, there are 2 exits. They're both located at the front of the room, and the muster point is right out of these doors and then outside the building in case of any emergency. And then bathrooms are straight down the hallway and then on the right of the stairs. So before beginning our speaker panel, I'm going to read the NAITSA land acknowledgement. And this is a really important piece that NAITSA worked on with the Nîsôhkamâtotân Center, and we're really excited to read about it today. We honor and acknowledge that NAITSA is on Treaty 6 territory and a traditional homeland for the First Nations and Métis peoples. NAITSA recognizes the contributions of First Peoples to the vibrant NAIT campus and the overall success of NAIT. Land acknowledgements are an opportunity to reflect on colonialism and its historical context, as well as its ongoing current context. Now more than ever, this recognition of the relationship is critical as we strive to honor and transform our relationships with Aboriginal communities. A land acknowledgement is more than words. It is a call to action. And we at NAITSA invite you to share your own calls to action and inspirations as we continue to move towards truth and reconciliation. We know we have a responsibility to think beyond ourselves and to think beyond today. So what really stands out to me is how, especially in the last sentence about thinking beyond ourselves, is directly connected to sustainability and what we can do to help our planet. So what I'll be doing next is I'll be passing the floor to each speaker so they can introduce themselves and their roles, and then we'll get into presentations that each speaker has prepared. So why don't we start?
Hi, everyone. My name is Jocelyn Crocker, and I am the chair of the physics department at NAIT, and I'm also an instructor with biological sciences technology. My slides need to go on. No, wait,
Nope, no worries. Well, first,
I thought I was starting.
It's all good.
I will sit down and pass the mic.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having us here. My name is Kirti Gautam. I'm ICT coordinator for NAIT ITS. Thank you.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure being here with all of you. My name is Gloria and I'm the manager for talent development and safety for the retail and ancillary services area. I support all the different areas.
And good morning, afternoon, sorry. Rob Akkerman with facilities management. So that's the operations side of the house for facilities management and development.
Hello, everyone. Derek Thunder is my name, and I'm the manager for the Nîsôhkamâtotân Center programs and services here on campus.
Amazing. So these will be our speakers here today. And the main topic of our panel is how each department enhances and supports sustainability at NAIT. So if anyone in the audience does have questions, please keep them until the end and then raise your hand so we can bring you a microphone. So which Renata is holding right over there. And we'll bring it over to you so everyone on Zoom can hear. And then if any of the people on Zoom have questions, please type it in the chat and then we'll get to it. So let's begin. Go ahead, Jocelyn.
Hello again. Sustainability is something that I'm very passionate about, which is why I could not wait to start talking. One of the reasons why I was asked to speak is some of the individual sustainability things that I do. I'm an urban beekeeper, and I was involved in 2014 with the group that helped change the bylaw in Edmonton to allow urban beekeeping to occur legally. I'm also an avid community gardener and have helped other community gardens get started in the city. I've got a food forest in my front yard instead of a lawn where we produce a lot of our food that we eat in the summer and the fall. And we also just this year got solar panels installed. So this is a very personal passion of mine, and I'm happy to share some of the sustainability things we do in physics and biology. Next slide, please. So one of the things in physics and biology is that even though we teach different disciplines, we share an office space and we have a bicycle commuting culture. So you may not know it, but biologists and physicists really love to go biking. And we have a lot of us who commute, some of us even commute year round. And one of the ways that we support one another is we share equipment ideas, we talk about challenges, we brag about our new bike mitts that we bought for the winter. And in doing that, we support one another in acting in more sustainable ways. Next slide, please. In biology, because one of our specializations is in the environmental sciences, we do have some student-led projects. One of them involves worm composting. So in pre-pandemic times, we actually would take pre-consumer food scraps from the common market and we would compost them. And then we would create compost that we would sell and then donate that money to environmental causes. Nowadays, because of the way pandemic has changed, it's more of an individual project. So students have the opportunity to start a worm bin in their own homes, and then they support one another in composting practices. Next slide, please. Another thing that we do is something called Project Bird Feeder Watch, and this is a citizen science project in North America, and the biosci students really participate in it. You may notice bird feeders all across campus, and that is from this project. And the goal is to do a bird count as well as to have the right sorts of practices for bird feeders. You may not know it, but they're actually a vector for disease. So cleaning them frequently and using the right types of foods are really important. And if this is something that is interesting to you, you can look up Project Feeder Watch and participate on your own. Next slide, please. So one of my things that I have noticed in my personal life and also on campus is the best way to encourage sustainability is to form a community. And so people working together for a common goal that they're all passionate about is the best way to get changes made. So for you folks as change actors in the world and making the changes that you want to see, my suggestion is to find people who are interested in the same sorts of things that you are and work with them to make those changes. Thank you.
Amazing.
I guess I'll take it.
Mhm.
Oh, here it is. Okay, if I stand here. Okay, thank you. That was excellent, Jocelyn. Thank you. So I'm here to discuss a few of the sustainability efforts that ITS is taking on behalf of NAIT. And the objectives are to bring more transparency, education and awareness, and how we are promoting entrepreneurship. So first I want to discuss about sustainability. So most of us know what sustainability is and how we can achieve it. Well, you can do efficient use of items that you're working with. But why is it important? There are various social issues that our countries dealing with, for example, poverty, and then there's a climate change too. So sustainability is definitely one of the core items that our lives and our work should be focused on as well. And it has 3 items, so ecological, social, and economical. To discuss the 4 dimensions of sustainable IT, there are 4 different aspects. So first is economic, then is technical, process, and people. And I'll be discussing each of those today. So here I have the counts of total number of laptops, desktops, and the items keep going. So it reflects the huge amount of environmental impact we have when we use any kind of technology, right? So it's very important to have sustainability. So the first one is economic, and what that involves is economic, the cost, benefit, profits, legal compliance, and the return on investment on green technology. For this, ITS is working to transform and upgrade to low carbon hardware, as well as we're collaborating with different programs, departments, and NAITSA to ensure that sustainability stays our top priority. We are working to extend the repairability of technology, as well as and everyone knows about the tech sales. They have been success, and it has delivered a lot of impact on students and staff's life. For future, we are working on sustainable IT policies as well as procurement policy. we have a new, the supply chain management has a new NAIT surplus website that would carry all the retired assets, and people can go in. Anyone with the NAIT email ID can go in and actually can buy stuff that they think will be useful for them. So these are some of the steps in the right direction. Next, I'm here highlighting the retired assets. During the year of 2021, we have 19% of the laptops that were sold in tech sales, 30% buybacks, and 50% to the recycler. So these numbers reflect that there's lots more that needs to be done so that not much that goes to the recycler and things stays within usage, or they get a second home for best efficient use. Next, I'm looking at the technical side of the sustainable IT. So it involves the hardwares, network infrastructure, software, and application. And I'm very happy to say that currently NAITS is using Power BI as a carbon footprint reporting platform, and we'll be using it to prepare a dashboard that everyone would have an access to look at. And on the other side, we have 57% of applications that are running on the cloud. And it is said that it is more energy efficient, carbon efficient than any traditional premises data center solutions. And next, we're looking at the processes. So that involves the green business process management, collaborative process optimization, and reporting with key performance indicators and critical success factors. Last year, we had the foundation of business relationship management, which is aimed to integrate with each program and department at NAIT to promote sustainability as well as better customer experiences. And NAIT is currently working with an audited and approved recycler of the ARMA, and they have certification of recognition, as well as they are ISO 14001 certified and ISO 9001. What holds in future is we are programming to have a drop-off and collection of e-waste program for which students, staff, and faculty can bring their retired assets so that they can be sustainably disposed of. We're also working on NAITSA, NAIT Supply Code of Conduct, which will be completed by the end of next year. So the biggest part of sustainability is people. So ITS is working on changing the attitude and bringing more green human resources. We are promoting to educate and train people on what is sustainability and how we can achieve it. There's always an entrepreneurship side of ITS where people are promoted to pursue what they enjoy doing or they're passionate about, such as me. I'm here because my management actually supported me throughout the process of sustainability and everything that I want to pursue in my career, as well as we're changing mindsets where people are asked on what they're doing, why they're doing to have more sustainable approach. And of course, there are guidelines and policies that are in work in progress. So what's next? There are initiatives to include ESG component on our capital request forms. We are collaborating on NAIT's Tech Capstone project to streamline our end-of-life asset disposal processes. We are promoting student sustainability where they get to work with the industry professionals and learn more about what happens in industry. We're working on the dashboards, like I mentioned earlier, and we are educating the NAIT community on e-waste management. We are setting specific targets and goals on the carbon footprint reporting, as well as we are adopting sustainability efforts wherever possible. So here, what can you do? I would start a call to action. If possible, identify and avoid any kind of obsolescence, reuse and reallocate assets whenever possible. Educate yourself on sustainability efforts. So I've added a link here which talks about the electronics recycling. You can get involved in community efforts to reduce the e-waste in society and ask questions whenever possible to your leaders and instructors. That'll be all. Thank you.
Good afternoon again. Thank you so much for allowing me to share our retail and ancillary services sustainability initiatives. So the RAS areas that I'm going to be talking about is the Eat at NAIT, and that's powered by Chartwells, as I mentioned before. Conference and event services, we have a team that arranges, organizes, plans, and executes events in alignment with Chartwells and other areas here at NAIT. And Shop at NAIT, I think everyone knows Shop at NAIT well, at the bookstore. Print Solutions, One at NAIT, where you get your One at NAIT card, and that great one card that works for everything, and parking services. So Chartwells has some strategies. The 3 priorities are health and well-being, environmental game changers, so food waste, single-use plastics, plant-forward meals. They're thinking of everything all the time and working towards that. Better for the world, sourcing responsibility, enriching local communities, and partnerships for change. So Chartwells promotes food security. When they have extra food, know that they are thinking about where they need to bring that. If they can bring it, they consider all of that. So everything that they do, they think about how much they're producing, how much is needed, but know that they are mindful of any extra food and it doesn't go to waste whenever possible. And Starbucks has made an amazing change lately. I don't know if who's a Starbucks fan, but if you go to Starbucks in the past, when you look into the bakery glass, there was lots of food set up for display. And this year they finally gave us the go ahead to start using pictures. So at the end of the day, all that food is not being thrown away anymore. We're quite excited about that. The newest NAIT initiative that's being started now, Chartwells will be participating. September 1st, 2022, we're going to have a waste container outside of our buildings for compost. So Chartwells will bring all of their compostables to that waste bin and it'll be picked up. Now, we've waited a long time for this. We're so excited it's going to be happening. So conference and event services. This team has done a lot of work in the last 2 years based on the pandemic to do virtual events. And what they discovered in that is as we go back to doing things the in-person way, a lot of people want to, and they will continue to do that. And when they do that, that team ensures that people are ordering the right amount of food, making sure waste isn't happening. Again, Chartwells partners with them, so that continues on in alignment. The care of food items during events to make sure that food is being held hot, not being taken out if it doesn't need to be, to keep it safe, food safe, so we don't cause any illness to anybody. The one thing that has become really strongly aware for us is the virtual events. Now, a lot of our customers that choose to come back, that's great. And some of them say, you know what, those virtual events are working best for us. And we're going to continue that. And what that does, of course, it saves money for people. It saves time for people. And definitely it reduces that carbon footprint. So we're really excited to continue on with that practice. Shop at NAIT. They have a lot of things they work on, and they're really excited about these items. They've eliminated plastic shopping bags. Approximately 85,000 plastic bags from the landfill are not landing in the landfill. Reduced plastic packaging wherever possible, and they've decreased it by 25%. It's a slow walk up the hill, but they're getting there. Digitalized paperwork and 2 online SharePoint sites. It has reduced the printing that they do, and they need to store over 60 banker boxes annually. And then you think about that paper ends up having in 7 years to be shredded and disposed of. So we don't do that as much anymore. Vendors are required to demonstrate that they adhere to fair labor standards. It's very important to us. Shop at NAIT team reuses up to 50% of cardboard that's delivered to the warehouse. So you can imagine the boxes that come to them for retail. And they really focus on reusing those boxes, whether it's reshipping to online orders or sending to different departments their orders, etc. So they keep that front of mind. They've developed a centralized digital platform process for integrated material. The textbook inventory is actually being reduced by 50%. And for those students who are using e-books and that kind of thing, thank you. That's part of what's got us to this point. And the buyback and the reselling of used textbooks. Nothing wrong with a used textbook, and we do practice that. It has slowed down a bit during the pandemic, but no, now that we're back, that program's coming right back up again. Print solutions, they have done and always do regular maintenance on machines, and when a machine works well, it uses less energy. The digital printing has reduced the use of chemicals, so ink solvents, aerosols, up to 98%. So that's a really big change. And it's reduced the paper spoilage up to 95% as well. They're really proud of that. So they use the different types of paper, 2 types of paper. They're both 100% recyclable. The 20 to 70 pound bond paper is made from 30% of post-consumer waste. It's acid free, and it also has the Forest Stewart Council and Sustainable Forest Initiative certification. Okay, so both of these do. So they've thought a lot about their machines, they've thought a lot about the products they're using and how they're printing. So that's really great. 1 at NAIT. So everybody that has a 1 at NAIT card, yay. First thing I want to mention is that 1 at NAIT card has eliminated the need for a sticker for bus passes. It's eliminated the print cards that have been used in the past for students and staff. It's eliminated the vouchers, so food vouchers that we used to pass out. It's all eliminated those things. So it's really, the waste has improved. We've gotten better. 1 at NAIT has worked really hard this year on a print optimization project, and they've reduced the printer fleet. So those photocopiers that you see across NAIT, at one time there was about 700 of them. They're down to about 430. That's excellent. The printer fleet from desktops, they have also networked a lot of those, so they've reduced that. Upgrading old inefficient machines that waste energy, and these are better. See what else. It reduces the electricity use and the carbon footprint by about 30% is what is estimated. Enhance cybersecurity through the introduction of new technologies, and I think that's really great when you think about you send an item to the printer and then you head for a meeting and you realize you forgot your items on the printer. And hopefully we're using our tablets now, but if you get to an area, you can then go to the printer that's in the area. You can use your 1 at NAIT card, that great 1 at NAIT card, and you can call up your print and you can reprint it, or or you can print it so that you don't forget and have a double copy. So just really good improvements along the way. Parking services. That has gone online now. So you can register your vehicles, pay for parking online. It saves time. And we don't need those placards anymore. They're hanging from our window or from our mirrors anymore. So again, eliminating some waste. And it's nice to be able to pay monthly or whatever you choose online. And you can do it in a click of a computer button. The Honk mobile app is also now in play in a lot of our parking lots, or all of our parking lots. And that streamlines the hourly and daily parking purchases from the comfort of your car. During the winter, it was nice to be able to sit in my car and do that and not be frozen standing out trying to print. And you can repay by your iPhone if you stay later than you were thinking. Remember the days of running down the stairs, interrupting a meeting because you think your parking meter is going to run out. We don't have to do that anymore. So this is really nice. And reduced printed receipts. So we're asking for your help, and I think you guys will understand these 100% and be able to help. If you can buy a used textbook, you can use an ebook. Please go ahead and do that wherever possible. So when you're throwing away your garbage, please be mindful to put bottles in the recyclable cans and bottles containers, pizza boxes into the pizza boxes containers. There's cardboard containers and vice versa. So just I know sometimes we're running and we just throw it in the bin that's closest. We just ask you to take a moment and think about separating these and putting them correctly. And if you don't need to print something, you can use a laptop, you can use something else, please do that. Thanks for your help.
That was a whirlwind show there, eh? Good afternoon again, Rob Akkerman for Facilities, and just a brief word on facilities. So facilities management and development is someone that you guys probably don't see too often. We're kind of in the background, unlike a lot of people at NAIT, but we're essentially the custodians responsible for all the land and building assets on campus. So the air you breathe inside the buildings, the water that comes out of the fountains, we're looking after all of that stuff. So sustainability is kind of core to what we consider as part of our role in maintaining a healthy campus for you folks. So as we've heard, sustainability is not new to NAIT. It's been going on for a long time. I've learned a few things today. It's one of the best kept secrets to me, right? We don't talk about it often enough. NAIT sustainability policy dates back to 2009 and has driven many initiatives on campus since. These include things like lighting retrofits to convert to LED lights, window replacements, significant upgrades to our district energy system, which provides heating and cooling to all our buildings, building improvements with energy efficiency in mind, green cleaning programs, our last two buildings. So this building, CAT, and the Productivity and Innovation Center have both achieved LEED Gold certification. LEED's an internationally recognized certification system that drives strategies for achieving high performance in key areas of human and environmental health, sustainable site development, and overall energy efficiency. Operationally, LEED drives things like improvements to the indoor built environment with an eye on and a measuring stick for overall energy efficiency. NAIT has also signed on to the City of Edmonton's waste management program in 2013 that saw NAIT achieve diversion rates in the mid 70% range. That program, however, was mothballed in 2020, unfortunately. We've participated in sustainability challenges with MacEwan and U of A in the past. We've joined the City of Edmonton's Corporate Climate Leaders Program, making firm commitments around GHG reductions and enrolling our building stock in the Energy Star program through the Building Performance Rating initiative that the city has. In 2021, a new sustainability work group was struck, led by facilities, but involved stakeholders from across NAIT with the mandate to update the old policy and provide recommendations to Executive Management Committee on next steps. The updated version of the policy for sustainability will support the NAIT effect and is underpinned by the three goals. I should have said next slide. The three goals that you see here that have been approved by the Board of Governors. So greenhouse gas reductions, 20% by or 30% by 2025, net zero by 2050. That's a big goal. Waste diversion, 80% by 2025, 90% by 2040, and water use, so no annual increase over 2012. Next slide, please. In support of our vision and the sustainability goals, some of the major initiatives we're currently undertaking include a detailed refresh of the campus development plan approved in 2021 by the Board of Governors, together with something we call the Master Energy Strategy. These programs provide a roadmap for NAIT, guiding our expansion onto the Blatchford lands, a net zero community that's being developed by the City of Edmonton on the old municipal airport site, and together with the updated campus design guidelines and the Master Energy Strategy, set new expectations that will transform our campus, both from the public realm as well as from an energy performance and sustainability lens. Next slide, please. The Master Energy Strategy has three main focus areas that ultimately speak to sustainability. First, the key to the Blatchford community achieving net zero is a district energy sharing system, using ground source heat pumps as the main source of energy transfer with nature and allowing a complete shift towards electrification. NAIT's buildings on Blatchford will be connected to the district energy sharing system, and the master energy strategy built a business case for NAIT to do the same with the buildings on our main existing campus as we renew those assets. Secondly, and to those of you that pay utility bills, this will be, you can attest to this, power is currently expensive, somewhat tied to the price of natural gas, and gas is even more expensive, especially with the carbon tax. So the master energy strategy also examined the viability of self-generation of power to help NAIT mitigate those future cost increases. Our future campus will include things like solar PV panels, both rooftop and building skin, battery energy storage, central heat and power systems, which are increasingly becoming viable as the province looks to move towards hydrogen or biofuels to replace natural gas. In fact, we are doing work right now to look at the viability of self-generation on our existing campus. Lastly, the master energy strategy defines building performance requirements like ASHRAE standard 189.1, for example, to drive higher levels of energy performance and actually reduce the amount of energy we use. Next slide. I have to read, I'm not good at memorizing. Our waste diversion, NAIT's embarked on the development of a holistic and all-inclusive waste management program. So expect to see a transition through the summer from our current 2-stream waste collection to 3 and 4 streams as we move towards on-site separation of recyclables, refundables, organics, and waste. In the background, NAIT will also move to consolidate program waste and recyclables. So things like metal pipe, welding coupons, sawdust, trades program produce a lot of recyclables, and work these into the greater recycling program. Many of these streams are currently being recycled, but they're not being accounted for. We will establish an audit program to ensure that we're on track and help identify areas of improvement as we move through time. And in the future, we plan to examine the viability of on-site composting and the management of construction waste and recyclables as well. Next slide, please. A key component to helping manage the business of sustainability is the coordinated use of technology to help us understand how technology can help and to support our NAIT effective vision. We are working on a smart campus strategy. Through the targeted and integrated application of technology deployed on robust backbones and utilizing cutting-edge analytics, NAIT's smart campus vision will underpin not only sustainability, but the entire campus experience for the NAIT community. Built around the vision of a digitally integrated, fully engaged, intelligently sustainable, and uniquely adaptive community of learning. That's a mouthful. And that's my presentation.
Hello. I don't have a presentation in the same sense with a PowerPoint. One of the things I do with regards to culture and language and about Aboriginal people is we're storytellers. And one of the things I wanted to mention today with regards to that storytelling aspect of what I do is with regards to the words sustainability and how does that word affect the people that I work with and the culture that I come from. It's hard to look at what sustainability means to a culture that was introduced with regards to capitalism not so long ago. Everybody in Europe had capitalism long before settlers arrived here in Canada, and then capitalism started here. So when we're asking people to be sustainable, you're asking people to do things that everybody else already did, but for them not to have that chance. You have to do it in a way to tell that people that what we're doing is the right way of doing it. When we look historically with regards to what sustainability means with regards to Aboriginal people, it means using the things and not going to excess with regards to more than what you need. We do buffalo teachings and moose teachings with regards to when you're hunting a moose or when you get a buffalo, every part of the buffalo or every part of that moose is used. Nothing is thrown away. We lead often with regards to what we're trying to do and what we're trying to teach is not often we don't do it this way. We have to try and teach by example because that's how our communities learn. one of the things that I realized was the only way I started learning about sustainability on my own was a few years back when I was going and taking out the garbage. And I saw all along the garbage where the people were putting garbage alongside their homes. And there's only 2 people in my house and 3 bags of garbage every time the garbage truck would come. That's a lot of garbage for one house. And I thought, we got to change this. And I was getting pissed off and I started going out. And then I went inside my house and gave shit to my partner for no reason. It wasn't his fault. It was also mine. But at the same time, we said, we have to change things. We have to change how we do things a little differently. And now it's barely that every 2 weeks they pick up the garbage. We barely have a bag of garbage. It's changed that much with regards to what we throw away, what we recycle, and what we do with those things. The other thing was something that shocked me with regards to how I present with regards to what I need in my house. And that was food. One of my friends came for supper and I opened the fridge. And she said, that's the emptiest fridge I've ever seen. And at first I thought I'd be offended. Then I realized, no, that took a lot of hard work to have an empty fridge. Because I didn't want to be able to have that fridge that wastes food, that just because you want to look good and you stuff your pantry and your fridge of food, it makes you look like you have some sort of wealth behind you, right? Some sort of status. And I didn't want that. So I sort of looked at her and I said, you know what? We only buy what we need. And that answer came so naturally. And I thought about it after. It is true. In the most recent times, we only buy what we need, and we don't really need a whole lot with regards to when we're having supper, we only go buy with regards to what we need for that supper. It's something that we used to do, and now we forgot how to do it. And I think that's the piece with regards to when we talk about sustainability, it's just really relearning what we already had and making sure that we learn it properly again. So future generations can have that opportunity to live the way we live, right? The other thing is when I think about things that I do with regards to how can I support, how can I help sustainability, I recently joined the Edmonton River Valley Coalition, which is the coalition that supports the River Valley, and we're trying to maintain that sorts of diversity with regards to that environment that we created within the urban center, but that supports wildlife within the urban center. And it wasn't something I was really drawn to in the beginning. They asked me for about 4 or 5 years, but I finally said yes about a month ago. And it's something that I had to get into because when we talk about sustainability, we're talking about the interconnectedness of everything that we do. Sustainability is not about only changing the environment that we live in. It's changing who we are and how we live in that environment and what role we play and how interconnected we are. And I think when we start to get to a place as human beings, and we get to a place that we start to understand the role that we play with that interconnectedness, that the sustainability will start to take action on its own without having us to take that action. It'll naturally become there because once we start to like who we are as individuals, then all these little things start to play a role in what we do. You know, it's hard to see that. It's hard to acknowledge that. It's hard to see it because it's such a big picture. It's a holistic picture. It's more than all these other things, right? One of the things, like, not to put anybody else down who did a presentation here. This is not what I'm doing, but when we talk about culture and education in our environment as Aboriginal people, we look at these things with regards to presentations and what we learn from a book. For us, that learning can come from a book, and that's fine, but the teaching doesn't. The teaching has to be very personal because once you put something in our culture into a book, it's dead. The teaching never dies because you get that teaching from another person, another individual that passes it down in our culture. So when I look at that with regards to what we're trying to pass on, I think, yes, we can present all we want, but also listen and talk to the people who are doing those presentations because you're going to learn more than by just that presentation. That's going to be more meaningful. And I think that's the goal that we have to come to with regards to wanting to teach what sustainability is. I was going to say some more, but I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Derek. That was wonderful. And thank you to all the speakers. So I have one question and then we'll open it up to the audience. So the question I have is, what is one thing you would like to leave our audience with, either a call to action or a fun fact, whatever you choose? And we can start here with Jocelyn.
Well, a biological view of the world is similar to what Derek was talking about, in that everything is interconnected. And my call to action is to build and join communities, because for me and the way that I have lived sustainability and explored it, it has been with others. And so if composting is something that's interesting to you, check out the City of Edmonton's Master Composter Recycler program. If community gardening is interesting to you, the City of Edmonton has more than 100 community gardens. And if there isn't one near you, you can start one and they have money for you to start it. If, bird feeders are of interest to you, you can learn more about that. So there are so many different ways that you can use your gifts and your interests and your passions to contribute to sustainability. But the best way to do that is with others. And it's also a lot more fun. So that's my call.
It's a great one.
I'd say to try to filter the distractions from the world. Like if you're we live in the world where you're like constantly shown advertisements to buy something new. And you always, you have this perceived obsolescence thing that I should have the new iPhone, I should have the latest laptop and all that. So if possible, like check if what you have is working out perfect for you. Why do you need new? So if you can filter that and make decisions for yourself that, okay, I'm good, I don't need that. I think that can make a lot of difference, at least with the e-waste management part of it. And yeah, like Jocelyn said, check out Alberta recycling programs, get involved with schools, NAIT, and ask questions wherever possible. That'll be it.
So I agree wholly with what's been said so far, and Derek and Rob, encouraging people to collaborate and to work together and to teach. I've already mentioned, reusable textbooks, recycle, eliminating waste in a responsible way. Don't print where you don't need to. Use a laptop. But the one thing I want to ask all of you, NAIT's like a big city, and a lot can be done here. We're not done finding new ways to be sustainable. So I invite you always to keep the conversation going. If you're in one of the retail and ancillary services areas and you have an idea, approach us, send us an email, start a conversation. We are always open for those ideas, and we'll rely on you to show us what we're missing.
And again, sustainability is not new. It's been around for, well, I started dabbling in it 20 years ago. Back then, and we've kind of forgot about the 3 R's, the first sustainability conversations were around the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. And so if I can, the biggest impact, despite whatever we do on campus or in our lives at home to implement energy efficiency initiatives, the biggest impact you can have or make is by reducing. Reduce, reduce, reduce. Right? So that's my message.
One of the things that I value the most with regards to working here is getting to know people with regards to all backgrounds and whatever schooling they're taking within the institution itself. So I have a lot of friends that are in plumbing and electrical and all those people and backgrounds, and I get to know people, get to know the people who educate those students in learning that environment. And about 3 years ago, I was mentioning with regards to my house is relatively new. I bought a house in 2013. But I was thinking, I need to do more sustainable lights with regards to electricity and all those pieces. And it became more so because of the cost of electricity and how the costs of living has gone up because of everything that's going on. And I had mentioned that a few years ago to my friend, and I was really sick last week. And I had influenza and I stayed home for the week, and I was just like, dying on my bed, and he calls me out of the blue and he goes, "What are you doing?" And I said, "I'm sick, I'm in bed." And he goes, "I should come over and put lights in your house." I said, "Did you not hear the part that I'm sick, I'm in bed?" He goes, "Yeah, and that's a good time to do it. You won't bother me and you'll just let me put the lights in." And I didn't know what he meant by that, but when he came over, he actually did replace all my lights with regards to LED and energy efficient lighting, which was actually really good for my house with regards to that sustainability piece as well. But what I wanted to know, what I wanted to say with regards to all of you, with regards to how can you, as students, you're very powerful with regards to the influence that you have. The leaders that are up here are leaders, they're wonderful leaders. But we learn a lot from you as well. And that voice that you have with regards to where you're at right now is going to mean a lot. So sustainability will mean a lot more coming from you with regards to the ideas that you have. And I think that's important with regards to letting people know the ideas that you have with regards to supporting that sustainability. Our generations, our older generations, the generations are looking to you with regards to the ones that are following your footsteps. In our culture, what we do 7 generations is going to reflect what we do today. So what I do today is going to affect 7 generations past me. So what you do as individuals is going to affect the 7 generations that come after you. So I just say, you know what, keep doing what you're doing as students and look forward to the future and fighting for that future with regards to that sustainability. So thank you.
All right, so now we can open it up for some questions. I believe Renata has a mic just in the back. Does anyone have any questions that they'd like to ask the panelists? Awesome.
Where do we get information about those community gardens you're talking about?
Definitely, you can here. So there's one right here. I know that if you do go to ookslife.ca to the event, you can actually download, I believe that there's like a resources page, and then that will lead you there. And so that will have a lot of the resources that the panelists have been talking about. The other thing I would also say is on the resources page, there is contact information for all of the panelists. And as you've heard, they're very willing to discuss with students. So if you have any questions or ideas, feel free to reach out to them. Is there any other questions? Is there any questions online, Ali? No. All right. Well, oh yes, Abby.
Sorry, it's not a question, but
Absolutely, yes. So we do have the NAITSA annual survey going on. There's a sustainability question. You can win some really great prizes. So please give us feedback. Amazing. Well, let's give a huge thank you to our panelists. And also a huge thank you to the NAITSA Sustainability Committee for putting on this week. This is the first one where hopefully we'll have many more. So thank you. And then just a reminder, as everyone is going out, if you're a student and you haven't come and checked out some of our sustainable swag, please do. And also, we have some QR codes over here. You can fill out our survey with how the event was. If you have any ideas or feedback, we're really, really excited to make this an annual event. So thank you again for attending.